So maybe for a start, can you share with us a little bit about how do you get to do what you're doing today?
It's a long, very long story, but um, being in, I'm a fitness coach and I've been, working out, exercising since at least middle school. I used to do a lot of judo, so if you're following me, sometimes I post judo things like how I fail all the times kind of stuff, but I've been doing that for since middle school. I've been loving it and I stopped doing it for a while and I didn't like how I turned out, like the person that I was when I didn't do exercises as much as I
Hmm.
did in middle school. So I'm like, for a job, maybe I should go back to my roots and, doing it, exercising,
Yeah.
loving it to exercise. And obviously, I do have the similar story of like, stopping and then feeling, down a little bit depressed,
Hmm.
seeing my body weight go up. I didn't like the way my body looked and how, it's different from, my journey going back to where I was.
No, I think anyone can resonate. Like for me, in my fitness journey, I start and stop and start and stop. So like maybe can you share with us like a story where you really achieved this big impossible goal that you set for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, one of the my thing is that I'm pretty weak. Like if you meet, I'm a woman, small, probably like 150 meters or 5 foot tall, so not exactly imposing figure. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been struggling with my strength in general. Like I feel like I wasn't strong enough, and I tried a lot of things, and then I sort of did barbell lifting.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a huge goal. Like you don't see a lot of women doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Some some obviously worries about how I look and all that stuff. And I finally did it. I was like, ooh, this is good. Now like
Yeah.
quite a bit more than my body weight. Like just doing deadlift and squat like is
Wow.
more than my body weight, and I feel very, very good about it. Like maybe my upper body strength isn't there. Like I have none. I still have none, but my lower body strength is much better. Like it's just I modified my goals along the way too. But it was the possible thing was getting into barbell lifting in from the
Mm-hmm.
beginning.
Mm-hmm. How did you go about, achieving that? Like, how did you go about, just first of all, like even setting that as a goal and then overcoming the fear? I'm sure like there's a lot of fear and a lot of start and stop
Mhm.
along the way as well. Like, how did you go about overcoming that?
It's it's funny because I let me see. What do I say? So yeah, I was researching basically. So I knew that I couldn't do it at home, like by myself. Is like one of the biggest thing is overcoming the fact that, sometimes you just need a little bit more help, maybe
Yeah.
at the beginning, but you do need help. And so I was looking for gyms, like different coaches to do weightlifting, basically. And I
Mm.
that was very, knowledgeable. They understand about women. So it's not, I was afraid of being, sexualized and, being
Yeah.
all these coaches talk about like just do glutes exercise and basically nothing else. It was really
Yeah. Hi.
finding someone that was more, I guess, very good, knowledgeable, very adapting friendly. And then I looked
Mm-hmm.
at their cancellation policy. Like I know I didn't start yet, but I want to know okay how good of a person this coach is.
Mm-hmm.
Like to be able to trust. Because if you have a good
Yeah,
cancellation, then that means I can trust you. And
precisely.
put
I
it
look at that too.
Mm-hmm. And then I found the person and came, talk to them, try out,
Yeah.
seeing that I have a pay as you go plan. So if I feel like I don't want to do it, I just don't pay kind of thing. So it's much better. And, I pretty much follow my coach from then on. So like once I find the right person, I just, I follow them, listening to them half of the time because I'm not
Mm-hmm.
listener either. So like, I'll do it, and then be like, I don't feel like doing it. Like I could have lived way more than I can right now, but then my coach said you can live more. But I'm like, I don't feel like doing it. But it's more taking me into consideration as well.
Mm-hmm. So what I'm hearing is that you got someone to help you along your journey, especially the
Mm,
start. Yeah. I
yes.
think for me as well, like for me, so I think my biggest and proudest achievement is that I was able to 3x my salary in a year. And I would say that didn't really happen by chance or like, first of all, it's even setting that intention that you want to achieve that goal. And I think secondly, it's holding apart from just like dreaming about it, but taking action. And I would say I sought out mentors. Like I sought out people who can help me along the way. I would network with people to really understand the process on how do I do better in interviews or how do I, position myself better? How do I improve my resume? So like I would say that like especially when you are going after any big impossible goals, it's so important for you to seek guidance so that it's not to say that you can't figure things out on your own, but sometimes like I don't really trust that I have discipline to to follow through, right? And it's tough. Like there's so much things you have to figure it out. And it's
Mhm.
always so much easier when you can just find like a proven path where people have succeeded to just
Mhm.
really, and it's so much easier, and I think you feel good about it too, like when you have
Yeah.
a proven
It's less
methodology to
work.
follow. Yeah, for sure. So
Yeah.
can you share a little bit about like, do you ever, give up on your goals or, like not being intentional about your goals? Does it happen to you? And what do you do about it?
I, one of the thing I've been doing and that I find really helpful is that I don't give up on my goals. I modify them. I move the goalposts.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. That's the thing though, because I'm like I'm sort of a perfectionist. So the fact that if I can't really, get what I set out to do, I feel really bad about myself. So the way that
Mm,
was I just move the goalpost from one thing to the other. So let's say, one of my goals was like, let's say my body weight. I want to lift, be able to for my upper body. I wanted to lift my body weight by the end of this year, but um, it's only 3 months left, and that's gonna not gonna happen. Like that's realistically speaking, unless I do,
yeah,
that is not gonna happen.
yeah.
So I move it a little bit back, now I'm like, 60% of my body weight now. So the goal is now it's just 80% of my body weight if we can by the end of this year. And so
Mm-hmm.
coming, being real with myself, like I always, reevaluate my goals. So I know it's big, it's impossible, but like I can do that with my lower body, no problem. Like I'm
Yeah,
past that now. Like I almost doubling my body weight for my lower body. And so
yeah.
well, I can't do it. It's just okay. We have to be realistic, and then when you turn it like to be a little bit easier, but not like super easy still, then you
Mm-hmm.
can still achieve it, and you don't have to fail yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree. I really love that, you don't change your goal, but you just move the goalpost.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think a lot of times you don't actually know how hard it is to achieve that goal because I've not done it before. So
Right.
like our timeline is so arbitrary, right? Like, so I think for me, what works is I always try to break it down into daily actions
Oh.
and really just focusing on that. Like, so, okay, so let's say like I want to build a group coaching program by the end of this, sorry, by the end of this year. And like my weekly action plan is, okay, this week I'm just gonna focus on a website. And next week I'm just gonna focus on marketing. As long as I focus on the actions, it will get out soon. So like instead of really just thinking about how am I gonna do this, how am I gonna do this, and I think the other thing that I tend to focus on is I also list down what are some of the skills that I need because sometimes right like a goal requires a combination of like the task and the skills, right? So like in terms of skill set, I would need first of all like figure the tech stuff out. I would need to improve my speaking skills, whatever, all the skills that you need to. I think it's to really be really objective and we judge the timeline because sometimes you just think that I can just do this, but there's so many sub steps in between. So I really love that. So was there ever a time where you try to pursue this big impossible goal, but no matter how hard you try, it just seemed like you're not getting anywhere, and you feel a little bit like is it even for me? Should I do this?
Hmm. I mean, that is my relationship with judo right now. Like, I'm still not back to where I was in middle school, and that was like more than 10 years ago. I'll tell you that. And I'm still not my middle school self in terms of my skills and performance in judo, and it's very frustrating. And it's, I'm for these kind of goals, I tend not to put a lot of stress on myself for that. It's more, I turn it into like more of a fun thing to do. Like, I'm there, I'm getting back, like I think I'm not even halfway through to my middle school self, which is very sad. But
Yeah.
doing other things, like obviously you very realistic, and it's instead of like playing, just putting stress, like unnecessary stress, it's just maybe if the goalpost is not working out, maybe it's just acceptance when you go to
Acceptance.
it might take a little longer than you originally wanted.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you're still, instead of having to give up, it's more, take it easier, seeing if it's like, okay, is it possible, like for me to get to the deadline, or is it just something that I have to extend my deadline a little bit more,
mm,
do less stress on myself at that point. I was like, it might be it. There are failures at time, and that's normal, and we all gonna have
yeah,
failures, especially
yeah,
when, like you said, if you have goals that you've never done before, you don't
yeah,
know if you can do
yeah.
it yet. That's the best part, because you've never done it before anyway.
Mm-hmm. So does it cross your mind to ever give up or no?
No, it's more coming to acceptance that it might just take a little longer than I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Process is still there, so I'm still working, still maybe looking to different ways. That's why I started weightlifting in the first place, is that to get
Mm-hmm.
I'm not as flexible or as crazy as I was back then, so
Yeah.
now I make up for it in other ways, so that I can still go back to where I was. It's, you might have to find a different route, and it becomes like sticking to the plan and the goal, like, okay, if it's not working out, what else can I do, and then change your plan up as you go.
Mm-hmm. What are you thinking, or what's the mindset you have, because sometimes it gets really disheartening to not, see any progress despite putting in so much effort and hard work,
Hmm.
right? So like, how do you go about encouraging yourself?
It's, it's more, I guess, I make it easier for me, and then I find other people, like, again,
Mm,
well, I talk to them, and I stop comparing myself to other people, because obviously, in terms of us reaching the goals, we might have done some research, and then we've known other people and their timelines, and even then you're like, oh, okay, you might not like it, but it's more, just putting yourself out there and being very honest, maybe like with yourself, like doing it on journals. I journal every day, or talking to people who are within your group of doing the same thing, like,
yeah.
might have experienced it. So that's why, like you said, mentors are just wonderful people. Like, they're willing to share
Mm,
their time and talk to us. Maybe just that talk of like
mm.
experience, and maybe they might come up with something new, or we feel validated with our feelings, so that we can still keep going.
Yeah, I love that. So I think it's so important, especially when you're chasing after this big impossible goals, to surround yourself with the right people. Because from what I'm hearing, like it's really having that community that helps you to understand exactly like how should I improve, where should I improve, what's the next thing I can do a little bit better. And that is really what keeps us going, right? Instead of just saying that, okay, this goal is impossible, but then you do know that it's possible because other people have done it, and therefore it is also possible for me,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah, in the
I
case
love that.
I just can't do it now.
Yeah, precisely. Like eventually I'm gonna get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, love that.
Hmm.
So have you seen, I'm sure you have worked with your clients before, and sometimes they might feel like giving up. Like, so what are some of the tips that you would give your clients or even yourself, like,
Hmm.
when the times are just really hard to persist?
Hmm. It's, when my clients, like, they all have problems. Like, now I work with a lot of people, especially in person, like they're working really hard corporate jobs and they're trying to work out. And it's more, you know, like being, I guess, being consistent with the workout, like, you know, because what that's what my job is, like helping people to exercise. And it's maybe like not pushing yourself as hard as when, you know, the good times are, but still showing up and, you know,
Mm,
and doing something. That's something that's, I don't care what it is, as long as when
yeah,
we our body doing something toward your goals, you know, or
yeah,
chatting, because we can do, like, if one thing is not possible right now, we can do some other things that's, you know, that's out there that we never touch. Or, you know, just coming in, like showing up, that's just so important. Like, just have to, you just have to keep that schedule, like that routine that you got, so that, okay,
yeah.
once, you know, the hard time passes, because then you can easily, it's easier to go back to what you've been doing than, you know, having to start all over again. So that's why I hate when my clients go on vacation, because they come back and they all like, oh no, I can't do this, I can't do that. And like, yeah, you didn't do it for, you know, 2 weeks, no wonder.
Yeah, precisely. Like I think like what you said is so important, like the momentum, right?
Mhm.
When we don't do it for even sometimes even we're not doing much in the gym, like just showing up to the gym is a commitment. It's a commitment to ourselves. Like somehow like just sends like the signal. At least I showed up,
Yeah.
right? To your brain and then like I can continue this. Like even though it's so hard, I'm still here at the gym today.
Mhm.
Um so key. So you know what what are some of the goals you want to achieve before the end of the year?
So like I said, is lifting about 80% of my body weight.
Ah,
Like I said, yeah, it is a real goal. And that's the biggest one, that is impossible because it's so hard. Like, I'm reaching that upper limit right now, and so
mm-hmm.
one of the things I have to do, like, you know, watch what my diet is, maybe increase my protein,
Wow.
those kind of thing, like how optimize my workout. So I can't really just, like, you know, come in, do whatever. Like, now I have to
Mm-hmm.
bit more serious, like, you know, 3 days a week, what do I do? Like, maybe I live, you know, someday I live this one, the other day I live another thing, kind of stuff. And so that's why I have a coach for that too, so that really helps. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, that's probably my biggest goal right now. It's just
Nice.
that part.
So, what are some of the tips you would give, you know, the audience here, you know,
Mm.
if they are feeling a little bit unmotivated towards their goals right now, and how would you go about, you know, sharing what must they do on a daily basis?
You know, it's more reflective, like reflecting of what they're feeling and, you know, writing it down. Like, is I find it very helpful to just let my emotions out instead of holding it all in, especially on goals that aren't
Mm,
having a deadline. Like, you know, you exercise, or if you want to improve your salary, like, how do you go around improving that? Like, like just talking, you know, those are the soft skills that we don't really have a deadline for. It's
mm-hmm.
very feeling unmotivated to just, you know, write down um
Mm-hmm.
why you're feeling that way. Like, is it like something that you have an external barriers to your goals, or is it you know, just from within yourself? Like, they're two different size
Mm,
aspects. Me is outside. I can't, you know, I'm not, I'm trying to grow muscle, so that's the upper limit. That's just the fact, and I have to work.
mm-hmm.
But maybe your goals, like, it's just not showing up to the gym or not working out as, you know, regular as you want it. So like, you got to figure out like why you're feeling that way. Is it something that
Mm-hmm.
within, like, if you have, you know, if your gym is 2 hours away from home, like, probably not gonna be able to do that, like, just be realistically speaking. But like, journaling, writing it down, or talking to someone else, like that, and realize, oh, that is really hard to do. Like, I'm putting more work for me, then maybe we might need to want to tweak it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree. I feel like, you know, especially when we have big impossible goals, it's really important for us to just keep asking ourselves, like, why in the first place are we even like pursuing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then really getting clear with our emotions. Okay, I may feel disappointed, but will I regret if I stop pursuing it? Right? Really asking yourself that question. And once you ask yourself that question and the answer is no, an answer is yes, I regret, like, then it's time to really just break it down into what do I need to do differently from here on,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because obviously something that you're doing right now is not working and
Mm-hmm.
you have to try something else. It's just taking that time to reflect. And I think one thing is to just know that it's totally fine to have these down periods where, you're just feeling a little bit unmotivated. It's totally fine. But I
Mm-hmm.
think what's important is to surround yourself with people who are pursuing the goals that you're pursuing so that you don't feel like this is out of reach for you. Because the moment you do that, you lose momentum. And when we lose momentum, it's so easy for us to just give up on everything,
Mm-hmm.
right? So surrounding yourself is so, so important.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So yeah, I think so. Are there anything you want to share with the audience before we end today's live?
So, when you were mentioning about the group coaching program that you're trying to plan, like that's the exact same thing that I've been doing the past couple of months, and I
Yeah,
have a group coaching program coming up. So
nice.
yeah, I did this exact same thing, but with another coach to help develop it. So I could not do it on my own. Like, I was like, oh, horrible. I can't. But yeah, so I have a free class actually coming up with, helping you like the 3 steps so that you can exercise, more regularly, having fun while doing so. And if you're interested in, or Kelsey, if you're interested in, or, your audience, you can go just to my link in bio and sign up from there.
Nice. Awesome. So when would be happening?
Um, I think it's in October. The date is
Okay.
7th or something like that. So it's close to Halloween because my friends, I don't really Halloween, but my friends love it. So I'm like, maybe you're just anchored around here. So I know that it's happening and I have to do it.
Oh, cool. Cool. So all of you guys who are watching, go to her Instagram profile and just sign up for the link on bio.
Mhm.
Cool. Thank you so much, Phung.
Thank you so much, Kelsey.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.